in our an archetypal listing of Joseph Campbell's work on what the hero quest entails. This is very helpful, especially in early literature classes, but you can really apply the steps of the hero's journey to almost anything, especially in modern movies, books, etc. You'll see it all over the place. So let me go ahead and share my screen. We're going to take a look at a PowerPoint on the topic. Let me get this up to full screen. Okay, so we're taking a look at the hero's journey. What you see here on the front page is Joseph Campbell's work, The Hero with a Thousand Faces, which really started this concept, and it's a very interesting book. I do suggest you read it if you get a chance, because it's really shows you background of people who have no connection to one another other than their stories, and these similar traits show up all over the world regardless of culture, race, you know, identity. All these sorts of things keep popping up over and over again. Okay, so we're going to look at the path to discovery with the hero's journey. And here we have on the slide 2 the path that the hero takes. This comes from Campbell's book, A Hero with a Thousand Faces. This is a basic pattern found in myths or narratives throughout the world. And just for the context of this presentation, I will be using the word myth to refer to modern religious stories as well. It's not meant to be offensive. It's just the kind of terminology that we use when talking about this type of thing. There's a universal pattern that we see in storytelling. Important myths which have survived for thousands of years share the same basic structure and stages. And again, these are stories that come from people that, for all we know, had no contact with one another, sometimes lived on opposite sides of the world. And one of the reasons why it's a good idea to have Luke Skywalker here on this first page is Joseph Campbell worked with George Lucas when Lucas was writing the original Star Wars movie, and Lucas really had a focus on trying to follow the hero quest because he thought that that would resonate with viewers. Now, because this is a universal myth, they're called monomyths. Mono meaning one myth that straddles cultures. Now, this does include archetypes. And what is an archetype? Is a generic idealized model of a person, object, or concept from which similar instances are derived, copied, pattern, which this is something where you see the person over and over again. There's archetypal images of various characters in many stories. You know, you might look at Yoda in the Star Wars stories as the archetype of the teacher. That's what his main purpose in life is, to be as a teacher and to mentor. He's a hero in his own right in some ways, but he's the archetypal teacher. He's focused on students and learning. You know, you might get an archetypal picture of a hero. If I say, describe to me what a hero looks like, in classes when I've asked this question, people say, well, usually they say he, not always, but it can be a woman as well. Strong, intelligent, charismatic, can solve problems. There's a lot of things that when you hear the word hero, that come to mind. This is the archetypal picture of a hero. All right, moving on. Now, we're looking at the stages of the hero's journey. In the first step, they're usually dragged away from the comforts of home to experience growth and change. Now, before this happens, oftentimes the hero is going to have some sort of mysterious birth, whether it's a virgin birth like we have in the Christian story. If you look at Luke Skywalker, before he realizes in the second movie, in The Empire Strikes Back, that he is Darth Vader's son, he doesn't know who his father is. His father's well, he knows the name of his father, but he doesn't know a whole lot about him. All he knows is he's dead. So he kind of hero worships his father. They typically have father issues and has some sort of mysterious birth. But when the call to action comes, they kind of have to be dragged from the experience. And I show the picture of Hagrid here in the screenshot from the first Harry Potter movie. Harry is taken away from the home he's known to Hogwarts, to a new environment. He's dragged there, not kicking and screaming because he doesn't like the Dursleys, but he's taken there on his own. Now, Harry Potter as well is an example of a mysterious birth, because he's told that his parents died in a car accident, when in fact they died defending him from Voldemort. So he has a mysterious parentage as well. Also, the call to action. There's a realization on the hero's part that there's an imbalance or an injustice in the hero's life that invites him to adventure, to the unknown. With Luke Skywalker, as far as he knows, the Empire has taken everything away from him. His aunt, his uncle, his father, he never knows who his mother was. So he realizes there's this issue, and he has to join the rebellion against the Empire with Obi-Wan Kenobi. All right, so the hero is called to action and leaves. Now, crossing the threshold is the next step. This is going from the quote-unquote normal world into the world of adventure. In the case of the Harry Potter stories, it's going through the wall into the Hogwarts Express, into platform 9 3/4. They have to jump off into the unknown. Also, the scene in the first Harry Potter movie where they cross the lake is very much a crossing the threshold type of scene. And it's going back to the Star Wars, that's when Luke Skywalker goes into space. He's leaving his home planet, everything that he knows. He's crossing the threshold into the world of adventure. If you're looking at Christianity, there's several moments in Jesus' story, but primarily I would say when he's baptized, he goes from being someone who, for lack of a better term, is a normal citizen, to going into the path of teaching and trying to spread his message. Now, oftentimes there's threshold guardians. Again, back to the Christian story, John the Baptist would be one of those guardians. With Harry Potter, the wall, there's actually a physical object that he has to go through to cross the threshold onto platform 9 3/4. When Luke Skywalker goes into space, they're attacked. They're almost killed by Imperial ships. This can be a literal barrier or a figurative barrier, someone having doubts about their ability. If any of you have seen The Matrix, Neo is initially called to action by Morpheus in his office, and he's led out to the ledge of a very tall building, and he has to make his way to the roof in a very dangerous situation in order to be able to cross the threshold and go to Morpheus. But he doesn't believe that he can do it. He has doubt. He ends up getting arrested. Now, he eventually does cross that barrier, but at first he has doubt that he has to overcome. Often needed as the hero is not ready to begin the journey due to youth. If you look at the Harry Potter story, he's 11 years old. That's a lot to put on a kid that not only his parents weren't killed in the way he thought they were, but they were killed saving him. And that's an important part of that hero quest. Okay, stage 4, after we've crossed the threshold, there's challenges or temptations. In the Christ story, it's the 40 days in the desert being tempted by Satan. In Harry Potter, he has obstacles in his way to accomplish the goal of saving the Sorcerer's Stone. I have Olaf here from Frozen, who helps out. Elsa's the primary hero, but Anna is as well. But they need those helpers in order to get along the way, and also overcome those obstacles. Now, there are often helpers that, Dobby would be an example in Harry Potter. In the Star Wars saga, you have Han Solo or Princess Leia or Chewbacca, or even the droids at times. They help the hero along the way because he or she can't do it for themselves. but they are not present for the final battle. One thing that's important for a hero is that a hero has to succeed on their own eventually. They may get help along the way, but they have to do it by themselves in the end. All right, there's more challenges. Also, we differentiate between helpers and a mentor. Han Solo's a helper. Obi-Wan Kenobi or Yoda, they are mentors. This is a guide that keeps the hero focused on her goal, helps the hero obtain the skills to overcome challenges. Usually, they have to die so the hero can face the big challenge ahead. Again, they have to face it alone, and in both these stories, the mentor does have to leave the hero in order for them to face the challenge by themselves. All right, moving on. A talisman. Just when things are at their worst, help in the form of a supernatural gift often comes. If we look at Star Wars, as Luke's going down the trench to destroy the Death Star, he's almost killed, but then Han Solo, the Millennium Falcon, acts as a bit of a talisman. The lightsaber is a supernatural gift from his mentor that helps him along the way. But when we get to the second and third movies, he must lose that talisman and create one on his own lightsaber, to succeed. Here we have a picture of Harry Potter and Fawkes the Phoenix, who helps him out in the form of giving him a sword to defeat the basilisk. So heroes are often given something that's supernatural that helps them out when things are looking grim. It does produce some sort of magical effects that saves the hero. Whether it's, again, like Harry Potter, I'm trying to think of another example. Well, if you look at the movie Frozen, Elsa is saved at the last minute by her sister's magical gift, and she commits an act of true love on her own that both saves her and her sister. And it can be a person or a thing. So it could be a supernatural being that helps out the hero. All right, moving on. The abyss. The hero has to go into the abyss in order to emerge victorious. And oftentimes it seems like it's not going to succeed. In the biblical tale of Jonah, you are in the belly of the whale. It's a journey to the underworld oftentimes. In the epic, the Odyssey, Odysseus goes down to the underworld in order to gain knowledge and come up from the underworld stronger. For Luke Skywalker, it's fighting Darth Vader the first time. He has to go into the belly of the beast. He doesn't succeed, but he brings back with him knowledge that he can use to succeed the next time. In the Lord of the Rings saga, Aragorn has to go under the mountain to gain this mythical talisman, essentially, of an army, a ghost army, to help him along and be successful. Okay, the next stage, revelation, transformation, sudden change in the way one thinks or views life. Now, this could be a physical death and rebirth, and you do see that in a lot of mythologies around the world where the hero dies but is reborn again. You see this in Christian mythology, but you also see it in Greek mythology, Native American mythology, and other places. It can also be a symbolic death where the old self dies and the new self is reborn. If you look at Simba in Lion King, he has to essentially die as the person that grew up with Pumbaa and Timon in order to ascend to the stage that he's supposed to be, take on his uncle, win back the kingdom, and bring prosperity back to the world. He doesn't physically die, but he has a symbolic death and rebirth. All right, return and sharing of the gift. This is an important aspect of the hero where the hero needs to bring back something to their society in order to make that society better. It's the fruition of the hero quest. The first work that we look at in English 271, Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh comes back from the underworld. He doesn't succeed in his quest for eternal life, but he brings his knowledge back and writes it on the walls of Uruk to benefit future kings and future people of Uruk and make the city stronger. I have a picture of Luke Skywalker from the newer movies. Luke Skywalker, after he defeats the dark side, has attained the knowledge he needs to revive the Jedi Order and help bring peace to the galaxy. In the case of Gru and Despicable Me, he emerges with the knowledge that family is more important than trying to be evil. And he can bring that knowledge. And his abyss, really, that he returns from is going to the moon and back. He can bring this knowledge and benefit his society. They share the gift of wisdom, experience, or knowledge, something that's gained throughout the journey with the broader community. Okay, that is the synopsis of the Hero Quest, and it really is something that we should be looking for in any work of literature, especially a longer one. But start looking for it in movies, television shows, stories that are important to you. I think you're going to find elements of the Hero Quest in a lot of places. And I hope this was helpful. And if you're in one of my classes, please let me know if you have any questions about it.